I know you remember that music, dude.
Mm, it soothes me.
Listen, man. Oh, yeah.
Going.
Wait till it really hits, dude. Here it comes, man. Oh, shit. Listen, dude.
Where's Matt Freeman?
That's a one of a kind. That's a Tim Freeman special produced on GarageBand right there.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Whoa.
Would you take that demo to Zoltan, please? I got a mixtape for you, man. Check
I
it.
think you got a hit on your hands.
You think so? You think I have a future in production?
I think
Perhaps.
so.
The garage band extraordinaire. So, welcome to Inside BJJ. I am joined by my good friend, the founder, commissioner, and all-around good guy, Brandon Mccaghren. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing really good, Tim. Really good.
wait, let's do that again one more time. Ready? Brandon Mccaghren. I killed the.
Oh,
I'm so bad at production.
You're the
Here we
worst.
go.
One more time. Ready?
There it is. One more time. Last night, Brandon Mccaghren.
I quit.
There you go. There you go.
I didn't hear it.
There you go, man. So, hey, man, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with me. Obviously, you're probably still recovering from the week that was, because we all went home on Saturday and you were still there. You still had business. You still had to wrap up and figure out that whole loadout process and everything that means, right?
Yeah.
When you're the main guy the whole time from the beginning to the end. There's no like, I only want to be the main guy when the camera's on. It don't work that way. Not at the PGF, baby. So how you feeling, man?
I'm good, dude. I got home at like 1 a.m. yesterday morning.
Wow.
And then I slept until like 11. And then I got up and came straight to the gym and I rolled like 15 or 20 rounds. Just blew it all out. And then I just got done training tonight. Like I just crawled off the mats. I'm all stinky and greasy. My face got clawed up. Nathan Orchard was here tonight.
Man, I saw that he's going to be down there on Saturday, kind of just out of nowhere. That guy's a ninja.
Yeah. You know, I ain't trying to start no rumors, but we could be cooking something up. You know what I mean?
Perhaps, right? He's a good dude. Something. One thing I've learned about you is something's always cooking. There's always something cooking. You're like the guy when you go over to his house, he's always got something on the stove. He's got something on the grill. He's got something in the oven. Something's cooking.
Something's always cooking, dude. It's killing season, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. So listen, I wanted to ask you what are your thoughts on season 6? If you could put a bow on PGF season 6, what would that be?
I mean, I feel like it was a massive success for what we were trying to accomplish. I feel like we accomplished that. Our first iteration of that, you know, like in a lot of ways, it was kind of like a reboot, and all the other seasons were like R&D and practice for this first real run at it. And yeah, I feel like it was a really successful prototype, basically. Like we put the prototype out onto the market. We got a good response, and now we can actually build the thing.
What's the feedback from the PGF OGs? I'm talking, there's been some players who have been with you from the very beginning, and then there's been some guys that jumped on real early. What is their takeaway? How do they feel about season 6? Because season 6 is like an order of magnitude jump, it seems like.
Yeah, several orders of magnitude. It was a huge jump, man. All the feedback that I've gotten has been like, wow, look at us. Like, this was incredible, you know, because we remember when it was in the gym, like literally just in the gym with local athletes trying to flesh out the idea. But, you know, we got guys like Wallow and Egghead, you know, a ton of Stephen Aiken who've been there pretty much since the beginning. And they were there when it was really just a cool idea that we had. And we had no budget and no sponsors and just what I could afford to pay everybody, which was not much. Yeah. And, yeah, so it's been pretty nuts, man. Their response has been really good. It's been a lot of this doesn't feel real in some
Yeah. I gotta say, is somebody who just jumped onto this late, to someone who came into season 6 uh to play whatever part I could play. The OG guys there were super, super open. Just like, I felt like I was part of the team 100% right out of the gate. There was no, like, people are like with jujitsu. Now that everyone's doing jujitsu, there's some people that are like, this used to be ours, like, yeah, I don't like all these people. There was none of that. There was none of that. It was more of man, look at all the hands we got to pull this gig off now. Let's go, baby. And that was something that I got to say I really appreciate from you guys.
Well, that's, if anybody would have had an attitude like that, they wouldn't have been around long enough to be an OG. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the culture is the most important thing. Like, culture eats strategy for breakfast. A guy named Peter Drucker said that. Like, it doesn't matter what your strategy is. If nobody wants to be there, they're not going to give their best work.
Yeah.
And so you can just build an environment where people want to be there and it makes them happy to be there, then I say just do that. That's not necessarily an easy thing to do.
How do you do that?
Man, I'm a corny, emotional, lovey dude. So
yeah, you are, dude. You are, man.
It's easy for me to like grab you by the shoulders and look you in the eye and from my heart tell you that I love you and I appreciate you and that it's not lost on me that you're sacrificing a lot to be here. That's easy for me because I mean it,
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think it just starts with trying to build the best possible culture that we can build, and I think that you experienced that.
Yeah, I definitely did. I felt like I experienced it with the OG people, and then I also felt like I experienced it with the people that were like myself, who were kind of just like, hey, man, we just kind of got here too to lend a hand and be a part of this. And everybody worked really well together, which is not easy to pull off, to be honest. Especially, you got a lot of people that like to be on camera. They like to talk. They like to be out there. But there was no big eyes. It was all just everyone pulling for the team. So that's a testament to you guys. Hats off to you for that.
Thanks, man. I think it's part of it's just like they see me and Keelan at the front, like, oh, they're working really hard, and we're working really hard. But I think another part of it is like this is like a handcrafted cast of misfits, like it's not a bunch of professionals or people we heard were good. It's the homies, and we teach the homies the skill sets, and then we just build it from there. And then over time, enough R&D and enough reps. Like, you got to remember, we get 5 or 6 reps every season. So
Yeah.
it is just season 6, but we've had 5 or more productions that we've had to do for each iteration, each season. So if you think about it like that, say it's just 5 productions per season. Well, we've got 30 shows under our belt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, EBI is on number 21, but we've done 30 now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a grind. Like, I think it's a grind for the athletes, and it's a grind for the people that are actually putting it on as well, because you go home and you realize, oh, we're going to get up and do this again tomorrow. It's fun as hell. It's super duper fun, but there is a certain amount of like, hey, we don't want to mess this up. We want this to be good. Everyone wants to be good. Everyone's trying to be their best, which means there's no going home and like screwing around. There's going home and preparing for the next day. Many times we were up late at night texting Egg thinking, oh, this guy, he's disciplined. He'll be in bed early. That fool was responding at 2 a.m. and then he was the first one up.
He's working, dude. That's a military man.
Wild, man.
He knows how to put it down.
Yeah.
What did you think, dude? Like, what was your experience like?
My experience was, I didn't know what to expect. I had a certain idea of what I thought this space was going to be like, and it wasn't like that. But not in a bad way. It was just, your brain develops ideas of what something's going to be like. I thought it would be like out in the desert somewhere or something. I had no clue, It's like, where are we going? My big concern was, how hot is it going to be? So,
we're doing it Area 51.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought, man. I was just like, this is going to be wild. I thought it was like, it really drives home the point that it's a show. That was the biggest thing that came across to me is everyone's doing super fights and tournaments and cool stuff, and that's cool. But this league it's a show. This is something that is consumable. It's something that has a plot behind it. It has urgency. It has tension. It has stories. It has drama, and it has a legacy. And it has statistics. It has all the things that you need to hook somebody into it. And that was what really came across to me being there and actually being part of it. I think obviously from the production side, everybody's doing the best that they can, and there was a couple emergencies, but everything worked out. Ultimately, everything worked out great, and everybody kind of put in where they could get in. I thought the set was cool. I like people grappling on couches.
Dude, I thought it was awesome.
Me too.
Corny, but I think those people are corny.
Yeah, listen. When Andy Varela chased PJ into the second row of couches,
that was dope.
That was beautiful. It was the best thing he could have done beyond taking him to the third set of couches. That's the only thing that could have been better. It was perfect, man. Yeah, I think it was a very, very well made product that and I don't mean this in a diminutive way. I mean, like you said, that can be shopped. That's a professional pilot. That's what you want. You want to put something out there that goes like, check this out. This is what we can do. Pretty damn cool stuff. And a bunch of jiu-jitsu guys got paid. And a lot of those dudes, they're not dudes that are pulling home $20,000 paychecks very often. And I don't mean that disparagingly. I just mean that's where they're at, man. They're training hard and putting their work in, but they're not seeing tons of reward for it yet. And the PGF was there to do that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a super cool part of it. We had 7 different athletes that left with at least $7,000. And everybody that was there got paid a minimum of $1,000 just to show up.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that was really important, that it was, you got a salary to come and be here. You're not just playing for risk. Like, $1,000 to shows, not a ton, especially for what we're asking of them, but I got $1,000 for you. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then
for sure.
If you come out the other side of it, which 6 of you will, 5 of you for sure will come out the other side of it with 20. Then Andy ended up winning the final tournament, so that was a 6th guy that got 20, and then one of the guys ended up getting hurt, and so he split with one of the alternates. And that alternate, Dane Leak, came in and he made like $7,000.
That's not bad, man. I mean, if you think about what they're getting paid per submission, it's not too bad.
Not bad. Dude.
Works out nice.
He scored 6 points and made $7,000.
The nice thing about the team winning, each guy winning, that means when you come into this tournament, there's 20 guys, right? If you're one of the starting guys, you have about a 25% chance of walking away with 20 G's, and that's not too bad. And you're going to give me $1,000 to take that risk. Yeah, I'm going to do that. If it's up to me, I'm going to do that. Right. So I think that
it feels like a no-brainer. I think I'm kind of torn. Like, I sort of next year, I sort of want to go, all right, lower team prize, higher starting salary. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like
Yeah.
maybe we split 25,000 between 5 guys, and we take the rest of that and we spread it out for salary or for bonuses or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of tinkering to do. There's plenty to work on. That's for sure. Like I think, you know, I want to look at that. I think I want to do the draft as a random auction draft next year.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think it's just going to require way more strategy out of the coaches. Like if you don't know who's coming up, you know what I'm saying? I think it'll make it even more interesting.
Oh, I got you. I got you. I thought you
Yeah.
meant randomly you're going to assign the
No,
players to coaches. I see.
still an auction draft, but instead of going, all right, through ranking,
Yeah, sure.
going to go, David Evers is up first. You're like,
I like that.
how much should I spend on David Evers? I got to save some money for my PJ Barches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that idea a lot, actually. How much? What was the most anyone's ever gone for? Do you know in the draft?
Well, we've done it different ways,
I see.
so it would be hard to.
It's harder to compare.
Yeah,
It seemed like Barch and Varela went for quite a bit.
they probably went for the largest portion of
Yeah.
the money, like percentage wise. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to work on. I think like if I was gonna be critical on areas, I think as far as the game itself goes, I think we got a lot of work to do on our officiating and our stalling penalties.
Yeah.
We never really executed the stalling the way it was written and the way that we wanted it. But I also think that having it there was a big. That's certainly the right direction.
Yeah, I do too.
We have to dial that in a lot better. So I would give us maybe like a C in that. And that comes back to me not preparing the referees adequately, not being as clear as I needed to, because it's a new rule. Nobody's ever done that with jiu-jitsu before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we'll have that way more dialed in next year. We may not have it fixed, but we'll be way closer. So that's one area where I feel like we need a lot of improvement, and we'll make that. I've already started the process. I had a call with the guy that I'm going to have head up the referee certification and training between now and season 7. So that's already in progress. We need a true professional audio guy, not a homie that, you know, everything else is like the homies are doing our best and using the skill sets that we have, but we don't have any homies that are actual. We need a true professional audio guy. I think as far as production goes, that was our major room for improvement. And promotion wise, we need like a dedicated social media team.
Yeah.
So that's something that I want to improve on. Yeah, there's plenty to work on, but now I got a much clearer vision of what can and can't be done with what we have. And so I feel way more prepared, and I got more time between now and the next one. So I think,
you know,
I'm going to hit a home run even harder with this next one.
I think it's beneficial, especially with the stalling. There's a certain unpredictability from the athletes where you're not exactly sure how they're going to react to this new idea, this new thing that you're introducing. And some of it is a reaction that you just miss. You're like, oh, they're doing this. We didn't really consider that. And then some of it is some of these athletes don't even pay attention. You know, like they don't even catch it themselves. And so they're confused about the way it operates. And now they're doing things and you're thinking like, well, why are they doing this? Why would they do this? The rule clearly states that. And you're like, oh, it's new. They got to get kind of used to it. You got to figure out how they're going to try to game it.
It's such a new format too, that
a
lot of these guys didn't understand what they were walking into in a lot of ways. Like they knew it was going to be long and they're going to have 12 matches and okay, yeah, I hear the rules. But until you going through it, you don't realize like doing what would win a match in another format will not allow you into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just dominate a guy. You have to finish him to score. And learning who can I score on, and who's it worth
Right.
empty the tank against, and how do I do that how do I not empty the tank without stalling? Like it's a very interesting gamification of jiu-jitsu, and that's really what it is. It's not about who has the best jiu-jitsu. It's about who can take what they know about jiu-jitsu and win this sick little game that I've created.
Yeah, I figured that out early on from talking. I was talking to Max Hansen. I'm like, hey, how you feeling? He was on the side, and he's like, oh, I got some tough matches today, but I'm not going to try to beat this particular guy. I'm like, at first, normal jiu-jitsu brain goes like, well, why wouldn't you want to beat him? He's one of the top guys. And he's like, well, probably not going to have a good chance to actually sub this guy. Be better if I conserve a little, because I got 2 alternates after that. And I think I got a chance to get those guys. And so there's a lot of strategizing like that. Sometimes it plays out. Sometimes it doesn't, right? It just depends. But there are those kinds of considerations where you have to kind of know your own style, and you have to be able to, with some level of success, predict your opponent's style and whether you think you can get him or not. And that's the real rub.
And what I see every season is that guys who try to game the system, they end up missing the playoff.
Yeah.
I see it every season. Guys who, like, there's no way this guy is not one of the top 2 or 3 on the roster.
Yeah.
And he misses the playoff.
It's wild.
But it's normal in the PGF.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really a sight to see. And for it being 12 matches, I heard a lot of guys say, I roll 12 matches in a night. It ain't shit. I roll every night in my gym. I got a room full of killers. But there's something to be said for coming out and losing, going in the back, and then coming out 15 minutes later and having to fight the guy who is even better than the guy that tapped you.
Or
not easy.
Or you don't lose, but you go by the end of night 2, you're looking and you've got 0 or 3 points on the board.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm
losing.
not gonna, I'm losing the larger game.
Yes. Right.
Yes. And so that's what we've tried to create, is a larger game that can measure you over time. And so to me, this is what professional jiu-jitsu is going to look like. This is the way that it's going to be. Like in the UFC, even just in the same UFC card, you got the 3-round fights, and then you got the 5-round fights. And some guys never even trained for rounds 4 and 5. We got rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And so if you want to be a true professional, I think this is where you're going to have to go.
Most definitely. Every sports league that exists has a season, and that season consists of multiple games. They don't just play one game, they play multiple games, because they're trying to determine over time who wins that game.
That's right.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's a game in and of itself. That larger game is the actual game you're trying to win. It's not the individual games. You have to win those to win the larger game. But there's a strategy to it. So
the larger game has the money attached to it.
That's right.
And that's the game. In the beginning of the week, you're not thinking about money, you're thinking about pride. At the end of the week, you're thinking about money, and you don't really care that much about pride, because your pride's probably already been walked on. Speaking of money, big announcement out of the jiu-jitsu world this week. A tease. It's really a tease. It's a tease.
Okay.
And this is Craig Jones, which I love Craig Jones, but I never know how to take Craig Jones, because he's all over the place. He's doing all kinds of things. Obviously, he's doing some real things, and he's doing some fake things, and some of his stuff is meant to be funny and some is not. So sometimes it's a little tricky to figure out exactly where he's coming from. But Craig Jones comes out and he says, hey, what do you think about more? I'm going to paraphrase him. $1 million prize in jiu-jitsu, 32 of the best athletes, yada, yada, yada. Maybe we'll pay everyone 10 G's to show up. He doesn't quite give a lot of structure to how this would shake out, but he kind of throws out this this warning, if you will, that says, hey, if you're under contract or you're thinking about signing a contract, you should rethink that because you might miss your opportunity to do this. And now when he says that, then I go, okay, now we have to talk about it, because he's telling people forego potentially current opportunities for a future opportunity that may be bigger. So that tells me he's serious about it enough that he would put that out there. Seeing that PGF really, just came away with $120,000 prize it's given away. What's your take on this, Brandon? Like, where is this at? What's going on with this?
Well, so I talked to Craig Jones on the phone last night. And
okay.
We talked about this. And I really can't say much, Tim, as far as what let me give you this though. He's serious. He's going to do it.
Okay.
He told me the date. He told me the payouts. He told me the structure. And he's going to drop a nuclear bomb on everybody. It's going to be very interesting. So, we'll see. Craig and I are going to stay in touch. We're going to stay in touch.
I mean, there's a lot to digest here.
Yeah.
So you're confirming that it's real. You could say that much. It's real. Yeah, okay. Real. It's real plans. He really intends to do this. All right. He has a date set. Can you say, is it this year? Is it next year? You can't say, or
this year.
It's this year.
Yeah.
Does he have a name for this? Is he really going to call it BDCC? I mean, it's hilarious if that's what he's going to call it, but
I think that's what he's going to do. I can't confirm that. We didn't really talk about the name, but it seems like that's the move.
I think that's the move, man. That's how you keep it Craig Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Serious.
I mean, I don't want to. I know you can't say too much, I guess, but
I'm sworn to secrecy, dude. He made me swear a pinky swear.
Okay. So I'm just going to squeeze the sponge as much as I can then. Are guys going to get paid to show up, or are they only going to get paid to win? Or do you know?
I do know. And I think he said this on his Instagram. So he's planning to pay them to show up.
So there will be show money.
Yes.
Is that going to be the new standard in jiu-jitsu now for professionals? Is what we're seeing? Are we starting to see a separation now between amateur and professional? Meaning the tournaments, you could put your money like, hey, I want to register and go do XYZ. That's an amateur tournament.
Yes.
You want to get paid, you have to be invited, or you have to win enough amateur, like golf or something, right? You have to turn pro. That's what we need in jiu-jitsu, by the way. It's actually not fair to have a pro in the division with, a 34-year-old dad who is okay, but he's not nearly as good as this guy that's like really, really good. Yeah. Interesting. When you say keep in touch, can we expect any kind of relationship between the PGF and Craig Jones? Is this just a collaboration? Will you guys tag each other on Instagram? Is it just,
hard to say.
Hard to say.
Hard to say.
Hard to say. Okay. This is coming from a man that has the best friends forever. You have the centerpiece of it.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Okay. And to the listeners out there, I don't know. Brandon actually has not shared anything with me, so I'm not positive. And I want to ask questions, but at the same time, BMAC's my friend, and I don't want to push too hard.
Listen,
but
you can ask anything you want. I won't say anything that's, I'll say hard to say.
Can I ask you, is PGF season 7 going to happen this year?
Yes.
This year?
Yes.
Is the prize money going to go up?
I hope so. I think that, just based on some of the discussions that I've had already coming off of season 6, it looks like we're going to do well. It's going to go okay. So, yeah, we have no intention of slowing down or stopping. I think we're just going to try to push harder every year. Or every season.
Will the PGF give $1 million away?
Eventually, yes.
How far do you think that eventually is?
I don't think it's as far away as people might think.
I don't either. My personal opinion is I think that it's going to go pretty fast is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at our season over season growth, it's going well. We're gonna do well.
Well, I'm stoked for that, for sure. Super happy that season 7's coming. I think it's really important you've whet the appetite of the jiu-jitsu community 100%. I think it was a home run. It was a smash hit. You got tons and tons of eyeballs on what you're doing. I don't know what the numbers were like before, but I imagine they're quite a bit larger now. This made a very, very, the reason why I'm saying it is because people are paying attention to my bullshit. So I know that's like backsplash from the PGF, you know. I'm just like standing on the side at the Gallagher comedy show and he's smashing watermelons and I'm getting some, you know, like that's where that's where inside PJJ is. But I'll take it, man. Give me that smoothie. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Give me that smoothie.
Really happy for you.
I'm gonna pop off one more this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to hit a minimum of 3 next year. I think I can get 4 next year. And so that's the pace that I want to keep for the first couple of years is 1 a quarter.
Yeah. What do you think about I got to ask you this because this is inside BJJ. What are the odds that the pre and the post show are coming back to season 7?
100%.
100% odds.
Yeah.
Those are good odds.
No odds. There's no odds. It's not even worth
That's good. All right. Awesome. Nice. That's great to hear. That was probably the best
successful parts. Honestly, is one of the parts that I was the happiest with of the entire week was the pre-show particularly. I thought the post-show was good. I thought the pre-show was excellent.
Yeah, we had a good time doing it. We had a lot of practice. We did a show today. Again, the grappling hours, or yesterday, I guess, is a blast, man.
Yeah, I watched that one too. Well, that's why I wanted you guys to get a feel for each other a couple of weeks out, is I wanted it to have that feel to it, like the chemistry. Y'all had already kind of played with the chemistry a little bit.
Yeah.
Already had developed a little backstory on how to tease each other, and
is that what you did? Did you go behind the scenes and because I mean, you gave me some like, hey, I kind of like it like this, and I took your advice pretty much to heart. I came in with a particular voice. I would say voice. Came in character, baby.
I'm snorting.
That's right, man. You never know how I'm coming at you. I came dressed and ready, though. I was ready, man.
When y'all opened the show and Rap was like, "It's Pitbull is here with us." I was like, "This is going to be a good season."
I told you, man. Home runs, baby. That's what I wanted, man. So good stuff. Everybody did a great job. It was a real fun. It was a great time. And I told the guys, I said, look, if this thing crashes and burns, it just Hindenburgs out, this is still going to be one of the funnest weeks in my entire life. One of the best experiences I've had in jiu-jitsu with a bunch of cool friends. Going to be pretty hard to top this. So,
well, you have to admit, though, it took you a while to buy into it.
Oh, yeah, dude. Listen, I did not get what you were doing, dude. I got the battle royal. When you said battle royal, I was like, down, we're coming. Let's go. 100%. But I didn't quite get it because you invited me down to season 5 and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm working and got a lot of shit going on. But I came out for the qualifiers for season 6. And I think I shocked you that I did that. I'm not sure you believed I was going to do that. You know who told me to do it was my wife. Was the one who's like, you got to do it. What are you doing?
Why did she think you had to do it, though? What made her think it was a good idea?
is like 100% Tim Freeman fan. She's like, you got to do it. You have to go out there and do it. Why aren't you doing it? So it's like, okay, got to do it. I speak real highly of you, but you know, she's in my corner,
Yeah, of course.
pushing me to get out there and do all my nonsense stuff. So I was like, okay. And it was a great time. And I got to hang out with the crew. And I think that was for me what sold it.
I put that bug in your ear on that qualifier trip.
Yeah, you did, man. And
You need people to speak belief into your life, dude.
sometimes I do, man. I mean, you know, I'm a very particular individual. I got very peculiar ways. But I think it was the people that sold me on it. It was hanging out with the team, hanging out with Keelan and Isaac, and you know, watching Ben Eddy cook hamburger meat a couple days in a row, and just hanging out with everyone. It was fun, and I thought, man, I think these guys are onto something. The castle didn't hurt. That was like, holy cow, like that's pretty wild.
Honestly, it's a pretty interesting selling point because you walk in, you're like, well, clearly they're going to be able to fund this one. You know
Yeah, right. Right. Well, because I mean, man, how many jujitsu things are done on a shoestring? It's all self-build. Jiu-jitsu is completely self-supported mostly, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of outside money. It's usually from the inside. And the money that does come into it is from the guys on the inside that have money. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to change. I think
it's
we're
already changing, man.
yeah.
Me and Craig said something super interesting to me on the phone last night. He was like, you know, jiu-jitsu is the sport of kings. And like, why are the karate combat guys adding it? Because, you know, there's princes and there's billionaires that are like learning and attaching and becoming addicted to jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu all of a sudden is the sport of kings. And it was a very interesting perspective I had not really thought of. But as you looked around at PGF, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, something's going on with the sport. And I have been trying to explain to people for the last couple of years, like, yo, there is a tide. The tide is moving. You know what I mean? Like things are shifting inside the sport. I'm behind the scenes at ADCC. I'm behind the scenes at Combat Jiu-Jitsu. I'm behind the scenes at Subversive and Medusa and EBI and whatever other show. Like I'm right there behind it. I'm working at UFC Fight Pass. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm at the Invitational, the Fight Pass Invitational. And so I'm hearing all these conversations happening around me for the last couple of years because I'm right there in the middle of it. And I feel like there's this movie happening around me. And I'm watching like a fly on the wall as this conversation goes down. And this guy shows up to this event. And this guy slips in quietly so he can have a front row seat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I'm watching it happen. I'm like, guys, the things are not what they used to be. There's no money in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But if you don't position yourself now, it's gonna happen and you're not gonna have been there for it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just have felt this momentum just rising, and I knew that this was going to be possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think when that tide starts coming, like it's not, you can't stop it, and by then it's too late to jump in. If you weren't already in it, when that big rush comes, it's hard then to build a net and be like, oh shit, I better get in on this. You know, it's too late.
Like you missed the crypto bull run, basically.
Man, that was me, man.
Well, another one. There's another one on the way.
There's another one coming.
Yeah.
BJJ crypto coin,
dude. Interesting world too.
You're like, that's a good idea. Yeah. Well, I'm stoked for you, Brandon. Listen, I guess last thing, any particular time period with season 7? You said you want to get it in before the end of the year. We talking fall, winter?
Yeah, November. Yeah, the plans. We have the dates. I would say 90% locked down, but I'm not comfortable saying those just yet because we've a couple of other.
Same venue, you thinking, or different venue?
I want to do the same venue and then like put everybody in the same hotel instead of doing the Airbnb situation. I don't like the Airbnb thing.
Did that not work out very well?
It worked out fine for most
Yeah.
everybody, but it would just be way better to do it with everybody in the same hotel. So that's just like I'm gonna have to go and cut that deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's okay. I'm getting better and better at that. I'm learning. I got a couple of gangsters on my team
Sure.
now,
Yeah.
so it makes it way easier.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think a hotel's logistically makes sense too. You got everybody in one place. Everyone's easy to find. It's easy to transport them around if you need to.
Yeah.
So, and you always got guys that are going to do their own thing. They're not going to stay at the hotel.
I like that little secret venue like that. I like that nobody
Me
knows
too.
where it's at, you know.
Yeah.
And I like that they had literally everything that we could need. Like if we ran into a problem with production, we have a staff and whatever, they would just like magically appear with, oh no, I don't have this adapter, and they're just and there'll be 9 adapters you never even seen before. Like, oh, they got one.
If you just like, I took a stroll behind the curtain and you're like, oh, this is a warehouse full of audio video stuff. This is amazing. Like,
Yeah,
it's wild, dude.
It's crazy. Like Hollywood movies are filmed on that set, or like they set up scenes there, and then they like big rock bands do their rehearsals there. Like they set up the entire like live
the whole stage,
and just run through it and like practice their pyro and all that stuff, like the timing of it.
You know how I knew when I really knew PGF 6 was gonna be a hit? I think it's safe to say it was a hit.
It was a hit.
Was when the folks that worked at the venue were wrapped up in watching the matches. When the security guys, I guess you can call them security. They weren't exactly. They were just kind of like guys that were helping people find their way. And, you know, one dude got stationed down towards the end. He couldn't actually see the matches anymore. He's a little bit like, oh, man, I'm going to have to watch on my phone now. That was pretty cool. That was like, damn, these guys are actually caught up in the season right now.
So you had the I'm here live experience, right? Which is a totally different experience than the broadcast experience.
Sure.
Have you gotten a chance to go back and watch any of it?
Some of it I have.
Yeah.
Not a ton.
What'd you think about the broadcast? Just
man, the camera work and the being right down in the action is fascinating for jiu-jitsu. It was really fun to watch. So that part of it is top notch. I thought, like, man, this is great. Is there room for improvement? Probably. I'm not an expert at that kind of stuff, but in terms of the actual visuals and being right down on the action, it was gorgeous. It's so much better than having a static camera that just is on the side and you just see two. It's like playing an 8-bit Nintendo game, man. It's like not that fun, you know? So you guys knocked that out of the park. The only part that I think needs to be figured out, and I think this is because it's a new thing, are the graphics. Like, how do we convey the state of the tournament at this moment, or the week, the season at this moment, with a picture right now, boom, to where the audience can get it? That was the thing that I was trying to figure out. Like, what does that have to look like? Like, what is that? What is that thing? And I think that's coming. I think you guys are on the verge of figuring that out and getting that in.
Yeah, we should have that solved for season 7.
I think the crowd was great. I think the couches were cool. I liked the lamps. When I first saw it, I had a little trouble visualizing, like, what the heck is this going to look like? But man, it looks good in the background. It looks like the Sport of Kings. That's what it looks like. And I like that the front row is pretty bougie, you know, a lot of characters that aren't going to Stockton to train, but, you know, these are folks that are interested in what's going on, and they were put up on the front row for a reason. And I thought that was a cool look. You know, I thought it gave it a vibe.
If nothing else, it's unique. You know what I mean? Whether you think it's a goofy idea or whether you think it's awesome, there's nothing else that does that. Nothing else looks like that. And so, if nothing else, it's its own thing. So I think that's really important when you're building something. Like, You either have to build the best one or you have to have a different one.
Yeah, it has to be unique. Well, you might have both, which is pretty special when you do that. So that's what
Well,
I think you did. It's a very innovative tournament. You had a lot of things that haven't been seen before. I know that you've done 5 seasons, but this is the first season that I think is really out there in a major, major way. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but
no,
um
you're definitely right.
yeah, it seems like it got a lot of traction. And so there's a lot of firsts, there's a lot of things that we just haven't seen before. But I think that's good. Like, dude, I know that everyone is in it to win it, and at the end of the day, it's all jujitsu, and it's like as long as everyone's training, I'm mostly happy for real. But if I was running another organization and I was trying to be competitive, or I had a very scarcity mindset, I would be freaking so afraid of the PGF. I would be like, dude, well, how am I gonna like keep up with this? Like, damn, these guys just 10x'd it. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
And it's gonna be tough to beat us. I don't really consider it competition,
I get
though.
it.
I want like just kind of the way I think. Like I want you to build the biggest building that you can build, but I'm just gonna build a bigger building. And the higher you build your building, the higher I have to build mine to have a bigger one. But I don't really subscribe to the idea that we should tear other people's buildings down.
Sure.
I
I
think
don't either.
there's I think there's plenty to go around. I think there's enough for all of us to win. And I really feel like the more all of these promotions and coaches and athletes and the good people in jiu-jitsu, the more that we can do together, the more we're all going to win. Because what I do know for sure is that I'm going to win. And anybody else that wants to win can come too. But I do know for sure that I'm going to win because I'll just outlast.
That's it. 100%. I think most sometimes you're screwing with me, but I think you're right, Brandon. I think you guys are on to something. And I think it comes from the top. And
Well, I want to win, dude. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I want to win. I want it, and I'm willing to do what it takes to win.
Yeah.
I don't have any aspirations to be the jiu-jitsu world champion, but I want to be the world champion at this.
Yeah.
And I see a path before me to become the world champion at this. And I think I got what it takes to be the world champion at this. And if I didn't go for it, I would regret it forever. And so I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to go win the world championship at my thing. This is going to be my thing. And luckily, I happen to be the kind of guy that wants all of us to win. And so I'm going to build something that the whole community wins from. Like, I just enjoy the thrill of trying to do it. I don't need anything. But if I can bring everybody up in the process, then I'm going to do it.
That's the way.
Because I feel like we all deserve. I feel like jiu-jitsu deserves something great, and so I'm going to build the greatest thing that I can.
Let's go. That's inspiring. I'm really happy for you. I really am. As a friend,
season, Tim. It's killing.
I know, man. I'm stoked, dude. I'm stoked. I'm on board, dude. I'm showing up. If you call and say, bring the shovels, I'm asking where the bodies are.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, hey, Brandon, man, I know you just got home. I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. I can't wait for season 7. I can't wait to figure out what the hell's going on with Craig Jones. I might just have to put
tell you. Oh
dude,
my God.
I'm just going to call Craig Jones. I have his info. I'm just going to hit him up.
Bomb. It's a nuclear bomb on the sport.
I'm just going to hit him up. I'm going to hit him up directly.
Dude, you should try to get him on the show and see if he'll talk about it. I promise I wouldn't say anything. I promise.
Of course. I would never ask a friend to break a promise.
You
100%
should try to be the guy who breaks the story.
Yeah. Well, that might just happen.
Dude.
So
you should be the guy. You're inside BJJ.
Yeah, that's what I told you. That's exactly right. There we go. Let's go, baby. So thanks, Brandon. I appreciate you, man.
When this is over, can you go back and cut in
Matt
Freeman talking at the beginning?
like I probably can. I don't know if I could get him to have your name on it though. Maybe I can find an old one that you were on.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be even me. I just want to. You
just want to hear him.
I can't come on your show anymore without a Matt Freeman introduction.
Oh, dude, listen, he's coming to visit in June. I'm so excited. He's coming out the same weekend that Eddie's going to be here. I'm stoked. He's coming to Nashville, dude.
Is he allowed in Nashville?
I think Matt Freeman would be a huge hit in Nashville. I really do. I
think he's allowed once, but I don't think he's allowed to come twice.
Oh man, I think these folks are gonna love him out here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he could live on Broadway. He'd be one of those guys. He'd be out there.
We could get him some wrestling matches down here in Jasper, Alabama.
They would love him.
They would love him. They're gonna love him in Coleman.
Can you get a fight for him at the Jug?
For sure, I can set that up.
He'd probably be the champ, the Jug champ.
Dude, we'll take him out to Mickey Wiggins. We'll get it going.
Mickey Wiggins. I love it, Brandon. Thanks, man. It's great talking to you, dude.
Yeah, I love you, dude. Thank you.
All right, man. All right, I'll catch you on the other side. Bye.
Okay.
If you enjoyed today's show, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes, subscribe, and tell your friends. Keep up to date with all the latest news in mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and submission, grappling, pro wrestling, boxing, you name it, we got it. Go to InsideBJJ.com. Follow us on Instagram at InsideBJJ, Twitter at InsideBJJ, Facebook.com/InsideBJJ Podcast.